Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Today we have a special guest. Her name is Mary Hart. She's a retired attorney, a highly experienced commercial and residential real estate investor, and a nationally recognized speaker. She is also the founder and CEO of Fair Oaks Funding, a hard money lending company, and the co-founder with Wendy Street of the Sweetheart Women in Real Estate Mastermind and the Sweetheart Private Lending Institute. Mary's passion is financial literacy and helping others grow their wealth. And in the words of Ted Lasso, Mary believes that doing the right thing is never the wrong thing. So without further ado, Mary, it is a pleasure to have you on today. I'm very excited to speak with you. Why don't you just introduce the audience, who you are, your background, and just overall your story?
Sure. Thanks, Christian. I really appreciate you having me on. It's always fun to talk about the things we're going to talk about today. My name is Mary Hart, as you said, and currently I'm a residential and commercial real estate investor and a hard money lender. So I have a company called Fair Oaks Funding, and we do mostly right now fix and flip loans, the short-term fix and flip loans. We may offer more products in the future, but that's what we're doing now. And then with Wendy Sweet, I do the Sweetheart. We have these great names, Mary Hart, Wendy Sweet. So Sweetheart kind of happened. Sweetheart Women in Real Estate Mastermind and the Sweetheart Private Lending Institute, all of which are coming up this October for our next events. And I love to teach. I love to speak. And I'm a retired attorney. I don't know if I said that. So that helps me in the lending business quite a bit. But I decided I did not want to practice law anymore. So here I am.
Everything led you to now, right? That's awesome.
Yes.
Well, I know you have a lot of experience in commercial and residential real estate investing as well. I'm curious, Mary, what was your background as far as that? What were you investing in specifically? And ultimately, what made you transition into that commercial and residential real estate space?
Sure. So I was practicing law and I owned my own law firm with about 10 employees when I first started getting into real estate investing. Actually, right before I started that firm, I moved from Alaska to North Carolina, and I rented my house out in Alaska because I wasn't sure that I wanted to stay in North Carolina. I might go back to Alaska. So I was sort of an accidental landlord initially. I liked that. We got good rent and it was fun. And then somebody asked me to be a private
Mhm.
money lender for a deal. So I did that all while I was practicing law full time. And then I sort of accidentally got in the vacation rental space in 2006 before anybody I knew was doing it. I renovated a building in downtown Asheville. I had gotten divorced. I was living 25 minutes from downtown, and I wanted to have a downtown crash pad for when I did not have my children. And so I renovated these 4 loft apartments, and they kept getting booked up. So I bought another building downtown and renovated it. It kept getting booked up. So then I went into vacation rentals with another
Wow.
friend. Anyway, at some point I realized that I was making way more money as a real estate investor than I was as the owner of a law firm with 26, 7 years experience at that time. And so I decided I'd rather be an
Wow.
investor than babysit employees. So I shut down my law firm in 2017 and have not looked back. And then last year, I
Wow.
got into my first self-storage development deal with some friends of mine, and we're about
Mhm.
to purchase our second self-storage facility. And so mostly I'm doing storage and lending and vacation rentals right now. I have some farmland that I've sold at a profit. And so I've just been doing a little bit of everything. I did one flip as a baby investor and I hated it because I way over renovated it. So I said, that is not my forte. I'd
Mhm.
rather lend the money to the flippers than be the flipper myself. So that's kind of, it was all very
Oh, wow.
accidental, I feel like, but I just said yes to a bunch of opportunities that showed up and it ended up being what I loved. Same thing about teaching around the country. You know, I had somebody ask me about 12 years ago to come teach. Dykes Bodiford out of Atlanta asked me to come teach with him. People heard me speak. They started asking me to teach, and now I teach all over the country and even on cruise ships around the world, which is kind of fun.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Wow. That's amazing. What a track record. I mean, I'm curious to know, even with, your company, Fair Oaks Funding, right? I mean, what could you tell the audience? I mean, what sets your approach to hard money lending apart from traditional financing options? Like, where do people need to be educated on the differences from that, on the cons, the pros, and so forth? If you could maybe explain a little bit about that, that'd be great.
So I have a lot of people that say, why would a flipper or a borrower pay you higher rates and higher points than they could get at a bank? And that's a legitimate question. We tend to work with those
Mhm.
people they're moving faster. So they need to either fund a loan faster than you can do it through a traditional bank, or they don't qualify for some reason. They have too many loans going on in 1 year than a bank will do for them. So there are a number of reasons they would use a hard money lender, and they will build those numbers into their offer price and into their budget so they can afford a higher price and still make a profit. So it's usually when we can just move faster, we're more flexible than a bank usually. And we have not had any problem getting borrowers. I think I funded just by myself 7 million plus in loans last year alone. And then I just brought on a
Mhm.
colleague to help me because we're going to grow it even more this year. And we've already loaned in the first few months almost $3 million. So, people out there are willing to work with hard money lenders because they can get their projects done faster and easier. And so that's why it
Mhm.
works, I think.
No, of course, absolutely. That's great. Thanks for sharing. Awesome. I'm interested to talk about too, this sweetheart woman in your real estate mastermind. Right? What inspired this initiative, and then what impact has it had? And also, what in the next 5 to 10 years, what more of an impact are you looking to create inside of that?
So this started 2 years ago. We were at Jim Ingersoll's Dealmaker event in Richmond. In fact, we're going back there this coming week.
Hmm.
And Jim always does a charity auction. And so there was a woman there, friend of ours, who had done some tiny cabins and she was offering them up as a vacation rental. And my friend Wendy Sweet came over to me and said,
Hmm.
why don't we sweeten the pot and offer a women's mastermind for anybody who books those vacation rentals? So the Sweetheart Mastermind was born. And we ended up, so many people wanted to do it that we ended up taking not only those 4 cabins, but we rented an entire lodge down the street. And we had, I think, 26 women that first year for a 2.5 or 3 day event. And people told us it was life changing. We
Hmm.
had people say they will never miss another Sweetheart Mastermind as long as they live. So we decided to open it up again a year later, and we sold
Wow.
out the first session within 36 hours. And we had to open a second session, sold that out within a few days. And so this is our third year coming into it. And we have 2 sessions this year, and we're sandwiching now a private lending institute because so many of our women mastermind members are either lenders or want to be lenders. And we've opened that event up to men and women. And what's interesting, I think, about the women's masterminds, the way we do it, we don't do it at a hotel. We rent a large, like 25 or 30 bedroom house. And so everybody comes in for 3 days. They have their own bedroom, their own bathroom, all the meals and beverages and swag are all paid for. And in the mastermind sessions, each woman gets about 30 minutes at the front of the room on their hot seat presentation, although we call it the Hart Suite presentation, just as a play on words. And everybody gets to come up there and
Yeah.
say what's working for them in their business, what's not working. And we all give them feedback for 30 or 45 minutes. And what we have found that's been really interesting, and I think it's because it can be a room full of women and they feel comfortable with this, is that we're getting a lot of people talking about things that
Mm.
aren't business related, that might be their marriage, their children, their health. And we realize that if those pieces of your personal life aren't really working well, then your business isn't going to work well. So we give whatever people ask for, we give
Yeah.
advice, as do the other women in the room. And it truly is very life changing and powerful. It's changed masterminds in general have changed my life, but those women's masterminds are super powerful.
Mm.
And then the Lending Institute, we just opened it up to men and women. So just because, we thought that would be a little more fair to have the men come as well. So this is our first year as the Lending
Right.
Institute, but both,
Absolutely. Right.
yeah,
Enough on the
yeah.
table for everybody.
That's right. But both Wendy and I each have over 20 years of lending experience. We both teach around the country. We both see a need for a really deep dive nuts and bolts into how do you set up a lending business? How do you run it? How do you service the loans? How do you do your risk mitigation? How do you do loss mitigation if something goes wrong? And so that is not going to be hot seats in the front
Mm.
of the room. That is going to be 3 days of intensive education by Wendy and me and possibly some guest speakers, and everybody will come away with a manual that'll have a lot of information for people to be able to do their own lending from A to Z.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I love that. I love your approach as well. And something I wanted to touch on was you even speaking about you're trying to even see and tap into their personal lives as well to see what is the bottleneck, what is the disconnect, right? Because I'm a firm believer that, you can have money, successful business, entrepreneurship, whatever it may be, right? But you have to make sure the kinks in the water hose are fixed as well in your outside life as well, right? So I think that as men and women, we are all facing those types of challenges, right? And it's inevitable that these things do appear in our lives, but it's so important to be part of a community, right? Like a mastermind of people that have been there, done that. They have the experiences and you're going through it, right? It's tough times, whatever it may be. But to really crack and get to that next level in life, it helps to have those types of people that have been there and done that and can give you actionable steps to get you to that next level, right? So I think that's incredible, what you're doing for people. It really is.
Well,
That's awesome.
thank
So
you.
I'm
We love.
interested too. I mean, why do you think financial literacy is such a critical issue, right? And just in general today. I mean, what could you give any advice for maybe what steps can people take to improve their financial knowledge, whether that's in real estate or just overall money, just the topic of money in general? You've had so much experience, Mary, so I'm curious to get your take on that.
Sure. I think the sad thing is that in our country, we're not taught from kindergarten on about money issues. We don't know what we don't know
Mm.
because we're never taught it. And unless we have parents or mentors who take the time to educate us about the whole, what I call the life cycle of money, the life cycle of wealth, which is how do you earn it? How do you grow it?
Hmm.
How do you keep as much of it as you can through tax savings or creditor protection or whatever? And ultimately, the end goal is how do you pass on as much of it as possible to your loved ones or your charities, right? So there's this whole life cycle of money that we're just not taught about in this country as part of our school system. And some of us are lucky enough to have parents who teach you. I was not. My parents just didn't say anything to me about it. And it wasn't probably until my 40s that I became a real estate investor. That was 20 years ago. And I just realized that
Hmm.
if we don't learn about money, if we don't find a way to have our dollars work for us while we sleep, or stop trading time for dollars in a job, we're going to
Hmm.
work the rest of our lives, because you can't really save enough for a good retirement like it used to be. They used to say, build up your assets. You'll live off 4% of that a year. I don't think that model works anymore. And if we can't afford to support ourselves, we become reliant on the government. And without getting into any politics, any way whatsoever, I don't think any of us should be reliant on the
Yeah.
government or anyone
Hmm.
else to support ourselves. We should all be able to live the life that
Hmm.
we choose and sustain it with our own efforts. And it's either working for that. You might have read the Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant. We start out as employees trading time for
Yes.
dollars.
Great book.
And then we become self-employed, where we move into our
Hmm.
own business, but it's still a job for us. And then the next quadrant is a business owner, where you
Hmm.
own a business, but it can run without you. Well, the pinnacle quadrant is the investor quadrant, where you can live the life you want while your dollars go make dollars for you 24 hours a day. That's where I am now. And that's where I want other people to be, because then we have a truly free life. Free life makes for happy people. Happy people makes
Yeah.
for a great society. And I just think if we're all self-sustaining, it's a great way to go.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
I love that. I love that. I'm curious, even just circling back on everything you just talk about, I'm curious, Mary, like what are some of your core values that help and guide you in your business and your investment decisions with everything that you're doing right now? Because you're so passionate on these topics. So I'm curious to get, what are your core values and what really is your drive? What is your why behind your why on the impact that you're making right now?
So the core values, you saw my tagline from Ted Lasso, the TV show, which I really like, which is doing the right thing is
Yes.
never the wrong thing. And I truly, truly believe that. And I believe in, I think it was Zig Ziglar who said, if you help enough people get what they need, you'll get everything you want. And so everything I've done has never been
Hmm.
driven by how much money I can make. It's by how many people can I help and how many people can I serve? Because I know if I focus on that, then everything I need is going to come back to me just naturally. It's just going to work. And I believe in that saying, a rising tide lifts all ships, and that we do not live in a zero-sum society, meaning that one person doesn't have to lose for another person to win. And so my goal is always to structure win-win situations for everybody, whether that's in a loan, we want the borrower to win, us to win, a new homeowner to win, the seller to win. We want it to be successful for everyone. In a relationship, you don't want to have one person who dominates over somebody else to the extent that the other person's miserable. It needs to be a win-win. And so I think if
Hmm.
you look at life that way, how can we help as many people as possible within our skill set? Um, then everything else will be taken care of. And to treat every person and every opportunity with an open mind, because you don't know when you're going to meet your next best friend, your next
Hmm.
client, your next business partner, your next borrower, whatever.
Hmm.
And so I just like to go into life with a really open, like French saying, joie de vivre, love of life. Let's experience this. We have one life in this body. Let's experience it, and let's make it the best for everybody we interact with, and leave
Yeah.
everybody a little bit better than we found them. That's my goal in life.
That's it. I love that because there is no guarantee on a second chance of this. I mean, this is our only opportunity. It's our only shot. We're only here for such a short amount of time. I know a lot of people will say, "Oh, that's very cliche," but it really is. I mean, when you really think about it, how many days is in a year, and then ultimately the average lifespan is decreasing now on lower than ever, and it's like you are here for a reason. Like the chances of you even being born, I think, is over 44 in a trillion. It's
Yeah, I don't
very
know.
high. I mean, so for you to be in this position, it's you have to maximize everything you can out of this life and get in the right rooms and help other people grow because it's going to help you grow, right? Your whole
Absolutely.
goal of being put on this planet is to be able to serve other people.
Yep.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So
Because if
it's
you do
that is
that,
what it's about. So everything that you're saying I align with 100%. I think it's what you're doing right now, Mary, is it is what's needed right now in the world more than ever. Because as you just said, right, there's a lot of people to where they're relying on other people to take care of them. They're not
yeah,
taking the bull by the horns, is what I like to call it. And
right.
to ultimately get that freedom, you have to take the bull by the horns and
You do.
release yourself from the grind almost, right? Of
Yeah,
just like, "Ah, I'm relying on this, relying on this." No, there's nothing greater than having full conviction and ownership within yourself. And so you can provide that also for your family and then help another family achieve
right,
that same common goal, right?
right.
So
Absolutely. And
with all that being said, what is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody out there who wants to build a legacy, right? Who wants to build generational wealth for their family?
well, you're going to limit me to one. I don't know if I can come up with just one. I think the first, and I'm going to give
Well,
you,
however you want to take it then.
limit me to one. I can't do it. I
Yeah.
think you have to start out being knowing who you are and being true to yourself because you're never going to get too far if you're fake. You have
Mhm,
to have a life of service and just go for it. You have to be able to go
mhm,
for it and trust in yourself that you can do it. I think we all struggle with mindset sometimes, and
mhm,
if we give ourselves or have faith in ourselves and get ourselves in the right room, we can do a lot more. And so my piece of advice is
mhm,
really that it takes four pillars in any successful venture in, let's say, real estate. You need the right mindset. You need to obtain the right knowledge. You need to work with the right network of people, and you need to take action because you can learn and meet people all day long, but if you don't take action, you're not going anywhere. So it takes four things, and I call them those propellers that push you down the runway to liftoff. There's mindset, knowledge, network, and action. That's my biggest advice.
I love that, right? Because so often many will take information overload and then not apply that information that's given, right? And it's so important to, you got to dip your toes in the water. You have to get a little uncomfortable to put yourself out there to make a change, right? Because you can absorb, and as you know, Mary, I mean, there's so many different more podcasts out there, just like we're doing now, and just all this information that's out there. I mean, that you have a tool in your hand 24/7, but most don't do anything with it, right? So that's the biggest thing is just really applying what you're learning and actually just taking immediate action. Because if you wait too long, you might not ever do it, right? You'll
Right,
let
and
the
I think
fear
that's
slip
where,
in, right? And then the
yeah.
thoughts start to come into your mind. Yeah,
Mhm. I think
go
that's
ahead.
where
Go ahead.
masterminds and mentors really come in handy because you can learn all day long and you may have
Mhm.
analysis paralysis where you just analyze all day long and don't do anything. But if you align yourselves with people who are already doing something
Yeah.
in that space you want to be in and get them to help you, then you're closer to being able to take action yourself. So I think that network piece is really important.
Yes, absolutely. And with that being said, Mary, where do people need to go to reach out to you? Where can they go to work with you? Why don't you just share some information on where people can go and do that?
Sure. So they can always just email me, Mary Hart at
Mm,
fairoaksfunding.com. So FAIROAKS funding.com. Or my other very easy email is just maryhart at maryhart.net. So either of those will work. That's probably the easiest way. If you're going to be in Richmond, Virginia next week, I'm giving the keynote talk at the Dealmaker Conference, so you can see me there. But I would say just reach out and email me, tell me what you need, how I can help, and then I can point you in the right direction to either something that I can help you with, or maybe someone in my network can help you with.
Amazing. Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Mary, I love everything about you. Honestly, I mean, the impact and just everything you're about. I'm just wishing you nothing but the best, and I'm excited to see, what you continue to do. And I know I gained a lot of value, gained a lot of insight. I love your energy. I know everybody else is going to love it as well. And would love to have you on again in the near future because there's a lot of stuff I wish we had more time that I want to talk to you about that I feel like we could get into. So we'll talk about that. But
Thank you.
again, Mary, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you on today.
It was great, and I'm happy to be on again. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. All right, guys. Well, as always, I hope you enjoyed today's episode as much as I did. And as always, my friends, we will see you on the next episode. Take care.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.